Now on Denver 7 News. The Broncos bring home a W, but they didn't make it look easy.
We just kind of made it hard on ourselves. But to be able to win in this league is hard, and watching that whole team stay together, stick together, was a great thing, and we just got to keep getting better on offense and clean a lot of that stuff up.
Our Denver 7 sports team breaks down the home opener, highs and lows.
Delay of game. Wow. Offense. That's brutal. 5-yard penalty.
And what Hackett needs to do to get back in good graces.
But yeah, more it's, the trauma of it too, just very shaken by it.
Plus, a high school football game turns into a full-on brawl with coaches and referees getting involved.
When it becomes personal and you feel physically threatened, you of course immediately say, is this worth it? How did we get here? Where are the role models?
Now there's a call for accountability and picking up the pieces after a deadly crash landing in their backyard.
You never really know how to handle something like that in your neighborhood, especially when you move kind of out of the city and up into rural country.
Denver 7 has the latest on the midair collision making national news.
Thank you for joining us after a roller coaster Sunday for Broncos country. I'm Jacqueline Allen.
And I'm Brian Wang. The Broncos beat the Houston Texans 16-9, but it certainly wasn't the smoothest of wins.
No, Denver 7 Sports Director Lionel Bienvenu joins us now. Lionel, a win is a win, but this was not exactly pretty.
Boy, that's the understatement of the weekend. There's always good news and bad news, guys, in every game, whether you win or lose. The good news is, yes, the Broncos won their home opener over the Texans. The bad news is, most of the problems from last Monday's mess in Seattle were still there today at Empower Field. The penalties, the red zone, dead zone, the mind-boggling and inexplicable coaching decisions. But the Broncos overcame all that to get the win, so we'll take it for now. Russell Wilson running out onto the field as the sold-out crowd gave him an orange and blue welcome, ready to forget that sadness in Seattle and get the first win of the season here at home. And then this, 3rd and 1 for the Broncos. Javonte Williams averaging over 6 yards a carry. They called an option with tight end Andrew Beck. It's a loss of 1 yard. That made it 4th and 2. Then Hackett sent the field goal team in, and they ran out of time. The delay of game, so they decided to punt. Everyone screaming at their TV, "What are you doing?" Fans weren't having it. The boos raining down. This was bad coaching on a high school level. It's embarrassing. Now, it did get better. Russ led a drive and capped it with a 22-yard TD pass to tight end Eric Saubert, so the Broncos won it 16-9. And after, the coach and the quarterback talked about the win and the fans and the boos.
I mean, heck, I was booing myself. I was getting very frustrated. Get down to the red zone 2 times, don't get another touchdown, which is unbelievably frustrating. I don't think we've scored in there yet, and that's something that all of our guys got to step it up.
This was exciting for me to play here. I've played against the Denver Broncos before here. It was a crazy crowd to hear all the incompletes, that they're doing on the defense and everything else. But it was a special time to play here, and obviously to get our win. All I really care about is the cheers at the end, because we won.
Cheers at the end. They got the win. So, can all these problems be fixed? The penalties, the slow and awkward play calling, the clumsy and costly coaching decisions? We'll take a deep dive into that with Nick Rothschild and Troy Rank coming up later on Denver 7 Sports at 10:35. So we'll see you then.
Looking forward to it. All right, we've seen Broncos gear flying off the shelves, and now they're partnering with a local clothing brand to release some new sweet gear. The Broncos recently announced their partnership with the brand Be a Good Person. Both organizations say their relationship is a testament to their shared community values and service. The official release of their 7 unique co-branded pieces of clothing started Friday.
We've actually been working on this project for almost 2 years now. This has been in the making for a while. It's our first official NFL Denver Broncos collab.
Dozens showed out at their Rhino location Friday. The gear is also being sold at the Broncos store at Empower Field.
New tonight, a high school homecoming game goes awry after several fights break out right on the football field.
Yeah, this happened Thursday during a football game between Rangeview High School and Aurora Central. We're told it involved players, parents, and even coaches.
The school district says nobody was seriously injured, but Denver 7's Colette Bordelon spoke with one referee who was in the middle of all that fighting that night and who walked away traumatized. Colette?
The Rangeview Review, their student journalists, they posted this story about what happened at the game, but now the Post says they begrudgingly are withholding the article after a request from administrators. The football official I spoke with says the game was different from the first whistle. He was knocked down twice during the fighting, hitting his head and hurting his shoulder. But what he's most concerned about is the example adults are setting. What's a quiet football field in Aurora today?
A game unlike any I'd ever had.
Was anything but on Thursday when Rangeview played Aurora Central.
After halftime, things really deteriorated.
A YouTube video from the Rangeview Review, a group of student journalists, shows the last play going out of bounds in the bottom left corner of the screen. That's when Mark Young ran to the players, and what he saw shocked him.
The Aurora Central player was kicking him, and then he jumped on top of him and started punching him in the neck.
Young, who's been calling high school games for more than a decade, tried to stop the fight, but says he was rushed by what he describes as a mob. You can see some of that in this video also posted by the Rangeview Review.
I was knocked down quickly. I hit my head.
It didn't stop there, Young says.
And as I looked up, I saw one of the Rangeview coaches throwing punches on the player, on the Aurora Central player.
He says he tried to get up, but was leveled by someone.
It was very physical, and it was assault.
The game was suspended.
I want to be sure that this incident is investigated fully.
In a letter sent out the next day, the principals of both schools say the initial confrontation between a few players led to people in the stands jumping the barriers and fighting.
Kind of a microcosm of a symptom of problems that are pervasive in football, particularly.
Young says the coaches were aggressive too and believes they set an example for the players.
When it becomes personal and you feel physically threatened, you of course immediately say, is this worth it? How did we get here? Where are the role models?
Saying it's moments like this that lead to a shortage of referees.
That certainly does contribute to why we have so few officials willing to essentially volunteer.
And that coaches should be teaching their kids, treating sports like an extension of the classroom.
We could do more.
Hoping he starts seeing a change since it's becoming too much to take. At this time, Aurora police say no one has been issued a summons, but the case is still open. The game was postponed and the school district is evaluating when it could be rescheduled. Live in the studio. Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
That is crazy. Thank you, Colette. New at 10, a driver hits a motorcycle and runs from the scene. Now Weld County deputies are searching for that man. They say the crash happened around 5:30 tonight near AA Street and 37th Avenue, just north of Greeley. The motorcyclist died at the scene. They say the suspect was driving a white van. He is described as a slightly heavy-set man in his 40s, last seen wearing a dark blue shirt, blue jeans, and white tennis shoes as he ran into this nearby cornfield. Anyone with information is asked to call 911 immediately.
All right, we have a sad update tonight from Golden Police. A woman that was attacked by two pit bulls last week died this morning from injuries. Police say the dogs belonged to the family, and on Wednesday they attacked the 89-year-old woman and her 12-year-old grandson in the family's backyard. Responding officers used themselves as human shields to separate the victim from the dogs. One of the dogs was euthanized and the other remains at a local animal shelter. The 12-year-old boy is in stable condition and no officers were injured. All right, now to the latest on that deadly midair plane crash from yesterday. Crews spent the day removing the wreckage from the crash sites in Niwot.
Denver 7's Veronica Acosta spoke to neighbors in that area today, still processing what they saw and heard.
Just 1 mile from where he lives.
These cottonwood trees right here will kind of hide it, but the plane came straight down overhead and just nosedived straight into the earth.
The crash happened right behind Sean Tuff's Longmont home, and while he's used to hearing and seeing planes fly by often,
there's always hobby planes in the air out here. We're between two hobby airports.
Seeing two crash into each other Saturday morning was scary, to say the least.
Obviously one landing in your yard's a little shocking though. It didn't look like it was falling or tumbling. It looked like it was in just a free fall. It was a little bit of corkscrew, but it looked like it was okay to fly. There was no wings missing or anything like that. Yeah, it just went straight in the earth.
On Sunday, crews carefully picked up the pieces of what was left of one of those planes. The area still closed off by police tape. Another neighbor who lives right next to the crash site telling Denver 7 he was startled by how close it came to his home.
Super lucky. I mean, you never know, right? We feel very fortunate that no one in our family has got hurt.
Neighbors like Sean and Carl wishing the best for the victims' families.
That was 3 people with moms and dads and kids, and that's pretty tough.
And the NTSB is investigating what caused that collision. Meanwhile, the Boulder County Coroner's Office says it is still waiting to positively ID the 3 people who died in the crash.
Beautifying Denver, a new mural was unveiled at the Mural Festival along Colfax. The event is organized by Colfax Canvas, who says the goal is to celebrate East Colfax's art district and create an environment of unity, beauty, and positivity. Colfax Canvas even created a map so you can take a personal tour to see Canvas streets, alleyways, and public art.
Coming off in just a few hours, the Queen of England will be laid to rest.
This will never happen again in my lifetime, so I don't want to miss it.
As England prepares to say goodbye, we take a look ahead at the once-in-a-lifetime events leading up to Queen Elizabeth's funeral.
Temperatures heating up across the Front Range as we go into tomorrow, but a big cold front headed this direction. I'll tell you exactly when it will arrive.
Plus, increasing grant funding to help recruit and support Latino students.
What made me choose University of Colorado Denver was the diversity that we have here.
We're checking in with CU Denver about a special designation that's helping the university and its students.